Hey everyone, it's Haley and I'm back with another pregnancy update. So this week, today, July 15th, 2020, I am officially 35 weeks along in my pregnancy. So at this point in time, I am required to go back to the doctor once a week until I have my baby. And this appointment was a little bit different than the standard appointments. This was the appointment where they test me for strep B. For those of you who do not know what that is, everybody has bacteria in their body and you can have strep B present. Like I could be positive for strep B whenever I give birth. And if I am positive, they give you antibiotics. And the reason they do this is because if I have strep B and I pass it along to my baby could potentially get pneumonia. There have been cases in the past where if a woman tests positive for strep B, that their baby can get pneumonia. So it's just something for them to test prior to you giving birth. And the only thing that's different than any other time that you would be giving birth is that they'll give you IV antibiotics. No biggie. A lot of women have it. My cousin had it with both her kids. Both her kids are completely normal and fine. She's healthy. Sometimes it's just something that happens and it's really like not a big deal at all. So for those of you who do not know how they test that, I knew only because my sister and my mom have told me many times, is they take a swab and you have to get undressed from the waist down and they swab from point A to point B. I think you guys can put two and two together on what point A is and what point B is. But they swab it, it doesn't hurt or anything. The only thing that might be slightly uncomfortable is that if you're not comfortable with somebody staring down below, then obviously you're gonna be uncomfortable. But my doctors are pretty cool. They talk me through it. I don't find it awkward at all. It's their job. So all they do is swab from, again, point A to point B. And I'm sure that you all can put two and two together. And that's all it is to it. And they test it. They see if you're positive or negative. I won't know until a couple days from now, which if I'm positive, it is what it is. Like I said, all they do is give you IV antibiotics whenever I go into labor, and then if I'm negative, I don't have to worry about getting the antibiotics. But again, it's pretty standard for a woman to have an IV while she's in labor for saline solutions, keeping you hydrated if you're dehydrated. It's there for if you need pain medication, stuff like that. So it's already gonna be there. So it's not that big of a deal if they have to push some antibiotics through there. Not a big deal at all. So she also asked me if I wanted to get checked. And whenever I'm referring to being checked, I'm talking about they'll check my cervix for like dilation and to see if I'm effaced at all. So she said if I wasn't really feeling like I was in the mood to do it, they could wait until next week. However, I was like, well, literally my exact words were, well, my pants are already off, you might as well. So she said that some people don't want to get checked this soon, but others do. And I'm the type of person that I'm just like kind of curious. Like I want to see where I'm at. So all they do is they glove up, they make you relax. She had me put my hands underneath of like my lower back / butt area to where I was like propped up. And then you just have to like relax your legs like you would in a standard like pap smear. So if you're familiar with getting paps, you're kind of familiar with the positioning that you have to be in. So the only thing that was a little different this time was that I put my hands underneath of like my lower back / butt area to where like my hips were propped up a little bit. And then she like checks ya, she presses down on your belly, And I am not dilated at all yet, and I'm still my cervix is fully intact still, so I'm not effaced at all, which is fine. Again, I'm only 35 weeks. I could be not dilated at all, and then in 24 hours be like dilated to 10. I hope that's not the case, because we do want to make it to at least 37 weeks when my baby is full term, which is a couple weeks away. But other than that, that was pretty much it for my doctor's appointment. One thing that is irritating, which you guys know from my previous video, is that when I went for my NST, their machines were down, and they told me today that I have to come, again, I'm going every week from now on until I have my baby, and their machines are down, and they're not gonna be repaired until next week sometime, and my next appointment is next Wednesday. So unfortunately for me, I always have to get an NST, and I'm gonna have to go back to the hospital again after it was a cluster the other day, and get an NST. I actually have an order for me right here to get an NST, and I called the number, but for some reason they didn't know where their scheduling book was. So they told me that they were gonna call me back momentarily, and that was like hours ago. So hopefully they call me back sometime tonight or later, or sometime tomorrow. That way I can schedule that, because again, I have to have an NST done before my next appointment, or else the doctor is not able to review it. So that's a little frustrating for me, just because it's a hassle, because I don't know if they're gonna be able to fit me in before my actual schedule on the same day, or if I'm gonna have to go up again. And my doctor's office is like 35 minutes away. So it's a little frustrating for me whenever it takes time and gas, and I put more miles on my car. I know 21st century problems, but it's just frustrating that it's quite a distance away and they can't fit me all in the same day. But at the same time, like I said in my previous video, nothing ever goes to plan, especially with pregnancies. So I'm just gonna have to go with the flow, and you know, it is what it is. So I will update you guys next week at my next appointment, and we'll see what they say then. I also thought I would add this in. I had somebody ask me on a couple videos ago to answer a question that was like a little TMI, but I'm the type of person that, yeah, things might be TMI, but I ask a lot of TMI questions too, and I'm like really curious to know. So somebody asked me if I had any embarrassing symptoms, and I wouldn't say like I really have any embarrassing symptoms at all. Like the most symptoms that I've had in this pregnancy that's been like kind of frustrating to me is that I have like the carpal tunnel arthritis in my hands, so my hands always hurt. My husband told me that he read that it'll go away after my hormones settle down. So I've had it pretty much my whole pregnancy, since very early on. And I get a numbness in my back sometimes, but I just move around and that goes away too. It's just the way the baby's laying. I have a lot of sciatic nerve pain, but I already had that prior to pregnancy, so that one hasn't been too bad. I'm trying to think of what other symptoms that I've had. Her particular question was if I had like gas, which is funny because I am not a gassy person at all, by any means, not gassy at all. But with pregnancy, definitely been pretty gassy. But specifically when I eat like certain things, but I've come to find out that a lot of those certain things, like I eat a lot of. So yeah, I feel like I'm turning out to be like my dog, because every single time she jumps up on the couch, she like toots. We say toots because it's funnier than, I think the word fart is just like not as funny. I like the word toots because it's funnier. So my dog will jump on the couch and we're like, why'd you let off that little toot? And it's just funny. I don't know why. But yeah, so TMI, if people don't think that women do that, but another thing that might be a little TMI is that I know a lot of people who become very constipated during pregnancy. I wouldn't say that I was constipated, but I was the type of person that I would like use the bathroom for number 2 multiple times a day, or some, like at least once a day. And since being pregnant, I would not go to the bathroom like that for like 4 or 5 days. So if you guys want to put 2 and 2 together, I don't want to be completely TMI. I'm trying to be as like professional as possible when I talk about it, but I would not go to the bathroom for like 4 to 5 days. And it would not be good. It would be very painful. I eat a lot of fiber in my diet, a lot of water. So that shouldn't have been the issue. I recently, and when I say recently, I started taking Colace, and Colace helped a lot. I take that once a day, and now I'm pretty regular. But other than that, that's probably the most TMI information I have for you guys. If you guys want to ask any other questions that I can answer in the next video, I'd be more than happy to, that I can relate it to like my experience and stuff like that. But as far as that, that's about all I got. Talk to you guys next time. Bye.